everyone, I am Dr. Pinal Barot from GLS University. Today we are going to discuss about the Industrial Policy 1991. It covers the rules, regulations, principles, policies and procedure which is laid down by the government for regulating and controlling the industrial undertakings in the country. Right, and it also prescribes the respective roles of the public, private, joint, cooperatives and the medium, small, large scale sectors for the development of industries. As well as we talk about the industrial policy, first of all we have to know about the history of this industrial policy 1991. So I like to tell you that this policy was introduced by Mr. Manmohan Singh in 1991, and we can say that it is one miracle, or we can say it's a give a rise to the industrial growth. Okay, so let's go with the history of the industrial policy 1991. Actually, what happened with the India, why it is required? So we can say that in 1947, right, India get independence from the British Raj, and so all the business are under the control of India. Pura business jo tha, right, it is under the control of India, right. So what happened with the business? All the business are under the control of India. So what happened with the business is like that, it is like there is no freedom to business, right? And because of that, industrial policies are not that much affected to growth of the industries. And we can say the main reason of industry policy are not the main reason is to not developing a proper growth in an industrial area is to not properly implementation of the policies. So what happened, जैसे कि first of all what basically need to the business को चाहिए क्या exactly, that businessmen have their own ideas. They want that they have no limitations for the investment to do the investment in the business. They want the liberalization, right? But in 1948, when the Indian government start to develop the policy and implement the policy, at that time they are giving many restrictions to the businessmen, and because of that the industries are not able to growth. So here we can say that in India industry development is started from 1991, because this 1991 policy gave the many liberalization as well as many advantages to the businessmen, as well as they invited the privatization also. So after the independence, what happened in India? Indian government is adopted the socialist economy, right? Which economy? In 1948, right, we can say that socialist economy is adopted by the Indian government. So we can say that, and obviously it is we can say that this socialist pattern is economic growth where the majority of the industries are owned by the government only. एंड जब गवर्नमेंट के हाथ में सब होता है, इट्स लाइक अ चाइना. जैसे चाइना में कैसे चल रहा है, इट्स टोटली अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, वेयर द होल डिसीजंस आर टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट ओनली, कि कौन सा बिजनेस करोगे, कौन से कस्टमर्स टारगेट रहेंगे, आपका कितनी प्राइस रखनी है, एवरीथिंग इज डिसाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ओनली. एंड इन दिस सिचुएशंस industries are not able to do the growth. So the public sector industries become inefficient and the government face the burden or losses, right? Therefore in July 1990 therefore अब बात करते हैं कि in 24 जुलाई 1991, ये बहुत जरूरी है याद रखना कि गवर्नमेंट of India they are announcing that it's a new industrial policy with the aim to improve the industrial growth. उनका main aim था to improve the industrial growth as the previews the licensing, then regulations, which is responsible for the lower industrial growth rate also. So let's start with the objectives of the industrial policy, right? Objectives. What is the first objective? If we talk about the objectives of the industrial policy, the first objective is to, it is aimed at the liberalizing the regulations. It is aimed to liberalizing the regulations and license control of the industrial sector to improve the economic growth rate. In short, means पहले क्या था, whenever you want to do the business, first of all you have to apply for the license. But after introducing the industrial policy, firstly उन्होंने ये निकाल दिया, right, they enter with the new reforms that no need to apply for the license, right, and the total liberalizations के आपको कोई भी startup के साथ अगर business शुरू करना है तो you can do start your business, right, because if government believe that if we give the liberalization to the industrialists, they easily came with their new innovative ideas, and it's easily working to increase the growth rate of the industrial rates. Then it aim to increase the support to micro, small and medium enterprises. Means here they are focus on the small scale industries as well as middle level industries. Means they are starting to give the subsidies to the industries who want to start their new business, as well as where they are lacking. Suppose कि कोई rural areas में कोई industry है, तो they are giving them subsidies and they are giving them loans, like to develop their business, to take to use the more and more resources from the market to develop their business. Then the third objective is to reduce the loss of public sector enterprises and make them profitable. Means they are started to do the privatizations, right? Means why? Because all the public sectors, जितने भी public sectors से सारे public sectors को they try to convert into privatizations because they want to earn the profit, they want to decrease the losses, right? And जितने भी government or public sector units say, they try to make it a profitable units. Okay, then we can say that it is the fourth objective is to ensure the rapid industrialist development, and it is by increasing the competitiveness of industries and to ensure the inclusive economic development. We can say that here they are ready to invite the foreign companies. ओके, एंड ऑब्वियसली जब इंटरनेशनल कंपनीज आती हैं मार्केट में, तो ऑब्वियसली इट इज द कंपटीशन इज वेरी हाई इन द मार्केट, एज वेल एज the domestic companies are also ready to give their best. And second thing, that the international companies are ready to invest in our country. So obviously our country, our domestic business also have a new they also have to come with the new innovative ideas. And then to provide incentives for setting industries in the backward areas. Means they are giving a loan to those startups जो अपने business को backward areas में भी develop करना चाहते हैं. तो ये main objectives थे, ये 5 main objectives थे industrial policy की. where again I repeat the objectives. First aim क्या था? First aim is to make a liberalize the business, means without licensing they are started their business. Second one is about that they are giving the permission to the international or foreign companies to do the business here. The third one is to provide the subsidiaries for the new startups to develop their business in the rural areas, in the backward areas. Then they focus on the middle class as well as small scale industries. Okay, so let's start with the fifth one is that try to convert all the public sector units into the privatizations to make it profitable and decrease the loss. Now let's understand that how the Department of Industry Policy and Promotion was established in 1995. Okay, so we can say that this DIPP has been reconstituted in year 2000 with the merger of the Department of Industrial Development. पहले सिर्फ पॉलिसी को इंट्रोड्यूस किया था in 1991, but in 2000 they merged this policy with the Department of Industrial Development. Now, what is the main role, we can say, the functions of the industrial policies? तो ज़्यादातर क्या होता है, they try to regulate the act of the 1951 या फिर जो भी आगे की पॉलिसी रही है. आगे कितनी पॉलिसी हो चुकी है before 1991? It is started from 1948, then 1956, then 1973, 1977, 1980, and the final one is 1991. Okay, now let's go with the new industrial policy 1991, where the features of, we have to understand the features of the industrial policy of 1991. So let's start with the features. Features, right? First feature is about industrial डीलाइसेंसिंग. जैसे कि मैंने बताया ऑब्जेक्टिव आपको, है ना, इंडस्ट्रियल डीलाइसेंसिंग पॉलिसी, right? Means यहाँ पे what they start to happen, this policy aim to end the red tapeism and license राज इन इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर. मतलब मैंने जो ऑब्जेक्टिव से बताया उसी हिसाब से हियर दिस पॉलिसी ट्राई टू स्टॉप द लाइसेंस राज इन द इंडस्ट्रीज. मीन्स विदाउट लाइसेंस एनीवन कैन स्टार्ट द बिजनेस. सेकेंड, दे आर स्टार्टेड टू मेक, मतलब प्रीवियसली जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स थे, राइट, वहां पे जो कंपल्सरी रिक्वायरमेंट था लाइसेंस का टू सेटअप द बिजनेस, राइट, टू सेटअप अ सिंपल इंडस्ट्री, दे ट्राई टू डिमोलिश देयर एंड दे इनवाइट each and every innovators, right, new innovators. Then the second feature is about de-reservation of the industry सेक्टर. डी रिजर्वेशन ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री सेक्टर मतलब कि पहले क्या था पता है, 1956 का एक्ट था, राइट. वहां पे क्या हुआ करता था, लाइक दे गिव द गवर्नमेंट गिव द लिमिटेशंस टू द बिजनेसमैन दैट कि वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ 100 करोड़ तक ही इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, उससे ज्यादा वो लोग इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं, राइट. सो वी कैन से दैट आफ्टर द अडॉप्शंस ऑफ अ न्यू मॉडल इन 1956 द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज फॉर द इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ, राइट, आर इन द हेड ऑफ द पब्लिक सेक्टर. मतलब इन 1956 में जैसे मैंने बताया, तो ऑल कंट्रोल इज अंडर द गवर्नमेंट एंड दे डिसाइडेड कि वो कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे अपने बिजनेस में, उससे ज्यादा नहीं कर सकते हैं, राइट. एज वेल एज हाउएवर द पब्लिक सेक्टर इंडस्ट्रीज बिकम इनएफिशिएंट एंड गवर्नमेंट फेसेस लॉसेस. उनको पता था गवर्नमेंट को कि बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कंट्रोल, राइट, पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट्स जो है वो लॉस में जा रहे हैं. स्टिल दे आर फॉलोइंग और दे आर concentrate on the de-reservations of industries. And finally under this policy जब 1991 ने शुरू किया, right, the 1991 policy introduced हुई, at that time they says that कि most of the industry sectors are now open for the private sectors. मतलब अब जो भी industries, जो भी business आएंगे, it's no, they are not under the control of the government, but they are under the control of the privates. They are own मतलब they have their own rights to develop their business. They have their own rights that उनको कितना investment करना है, कौन सी product introduce करनी है, everything it's under the privatizations. Okay, and only the railway at that time जब ये policy declare हुई 1991 में, सिर्फ railway, then the mining and the atomic energy reserves under the public sector. बाकी सारे private sectors में उन्होंने convert कर दिए थे, right. फिर third जो है, जो third feature है, it is about the abolition of waste the manufacturing programs, right. तो ये क्या होता है, It is about, we can say that it impose the differential duties regime and giving tax incentives on selective product involved in the domestic manufacturing also. So we can say that यहाँ पे क्या होता था ज्यादातर कि जो बाहर से आप इंपोर्ट करते थे, मतलब जो भी फॉरेन प्रोडक्ट्स आते थे उस पे टैक्स हाई लगाया गया था, राइट. तो ऑब्वियसली उनकी कॉस्ट हाई हो जाएगी एंड द सेम प्रोडक्ट वो जो डोमेस्टिक मार्केट्स में हमारे जो इंडियन बिजनेसमैन बनाते थे, राइट, उस पे टैक्स कम लगाया जाता था. मीन्स यहाँ पे पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट्स को सिलेक्ट किया गया था, राइट, कि कौन से इंपोर्ट होती है और कौन से एक्सपोर्ट होती है, राइट. जो हम बाहर से इंपोर्ट करते हैं उन पे वो लोग टैक्स ज्यादा लगाते थे, ड्यूटी ज्यादा लगाते थे, ऑटोमेटिकली उसकी प्राइस ज्यादा हो जाती थी, तो इससे कॉम्पिटिशन मिलता था. एंड इट्स ट्राई द पीपल आर के सेम प्रोडक्ट फॉरेन से भी आ रही है, डोमेस्टिक में भी मिल रही है और डोमेस्टिक की ये प्राइसेस है, द पीपल कस्टमर्स आर रेडी टू परचेज दोज प्रोडक्ट्स. ऑटोमेटिकली इट गिव्स अ बूस्ट टू द प्राइवेट बिजनेस, राइट, और इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ. Then the abolition of the MRTP Act. First of all, we have to understand that what is the MRTP Act. Abolition of MRTP एक्ट. ओके, मतलब कि एक ऐसा एक्ट था जहां पे मैंने पहले बताया उस हिसाब से in 1956 the MRTP Act is launched by the government, introduced by the government, where the government is allowed the industries that they have to do only 100 crores of investment, उससे ज्यादा वो investment नहीं कर सकते थे. They have a control like you have to be invest this much only and you have to introduce this product only, इससे ज्यादा आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. गवर्नमेंट डिसाइडेड एवरीथिंग अबाउट द बिजनेस, मतलब नो राइट्स, मतलब दे डोंट हैव एनी राइट्स. अभी जैसे कि अगर बात करें इंडिया में मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी चल रहा है, उस टाइम पे सोशलिस्ट इकोनॉमी चलता था लाइक चाइना. मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी मतलब यहाँ पे प्राइवेटाइजेशंस आर आल्सो अलाउड, बट एट द टाइम ऑफ एमआरटीपी एक्ट इन 1956 इट इज नॉट अलाउड इन इंडिया. सो अगेन आई रिपीट, यहाँ पे फॉर दिस एक्ट the government says in 1969 the government says to the industries, right, that they are only allowed they have to allowed for only 100 crore investment in their business, right, in their private if it is private business to sirf 100 crore, and if they are interested to invest their money in public sector, so they have to allow a more limit. But in 1991 policy, right, this resolution is demolished by the government and private industries have to get freedom that they have to take their own decisions regarding to the or related to the investment. Okay, then the fifth one. Fifth one, it is about the government, right, government support to small sector industries, right, or small scale industries. So we can say that 1991 policy, right, which support the small scale industries for their rapid growth and improvement in economic efficiency through technical upgradations. Means here to support the small scale industries, the government started the technical program also, that they have to be, because small scale industries are not always upgraded with the latest technology. That's why first of all they have to understand the new technology, and they are always support to give the teaching regarding the technical knowledge, as well as they also give the subsidiaries for the new machineries, updated machineries, right, provided loan to support the small sector industries as well. Then the government is allowed equity participations by the large industries in the small scale sector up to 24% of total shareholding. मतलब कि यहाँ पे government ने to encourage the big, large industries, large scale industries, that they invest in the small scale industries, they provide one scheme कि if the if the large scale industries are invest the 24 percentage of their shareholding in the small scale industries, then they provide the subsidiaries to the large scale industries. So automatically the large scale industries are ready to invest in the small scale industries, and obviously this policy work, and the small scale industries are, because of the helping of the large scale industries, or they are investing the money in the small scale industries, it automatically work, and it is affected, or we can say it's a boost for the small scale industries to make a good growth. Then again, we say that the foreign investment is also allowed in this 1991 policy, where the limit on the foreign equity holdings raised from the 40% to the 50% in a wide range of industries. मतलब पहले क्या था, सिर्फ 40% allowed था कि foreign industries are invested, but now after this 1991 policy, they add that, they increase that 40 to 51%. Then foreign equity proposal need not to be accompanied by the foreign technology, right, which is transfer, foreign technology transfer agreement. मतलब कि पहले क्या था कि कोई जरूरत नहीं थी कि आपको ये अग्रीमेंट साइन करना है, बट आफ्टर दैट पॉलिसी एमओयू साइन होने लगे विद द फॉरेन कंट्रीज, राइट, कि अगर वहां से कोई बिजनेस करना चाहता है, हम इंपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं या फिर हम एक्सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं, तो वी हैव टू साइन वन एमओयू. देन फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय दिस पॉलिसी, एंड ऑब्वियसली इट इज invited or accepted by the government of India. Then we can say that that yes, foreign technology agreements जो था, it is about in high priority industries up to ₹1 crore were given automatic permissions, okay, and no permission was required for the hiring foreign technicians and foreign testing of indigenously developed the technologies. फिर आता है पब्लिक सेक्टर पॉलिसी. जैसे आगे हम लोगों ने बात की उस हिसाब से दैट द लिस्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज रिजर्व्ड फॉर द पब्लिक is reduced from 17 to 8. जैसे मैंने बताया कि at the time of the 1991 policy सिर्फ और सिर्फ वे एंड माइनिंग्स वाली, माइनिंग एंड एनर्जी वाली जो इंडस्ट्रीज थी वही सिर्फ पब्लिक सेक्टर में थी, बाकी सारी को प्राइवेटाइजेशन में कन्वर्ट कर दिया गया था, right. Then disinvestment in selected public sector enterprises to raise finance for development as well as for bringing in greater accountability and help to create a new culture in their working for improve the efficiency. क्यों किया गया ये? तो to raise the finance for the development of industries growth as well as to create and to increase the accountability and to help to create a new culture, new environment for the new industries. Here again MRTP Act, फिर से at the end of the lecture मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूँ कि that because from the MRTP Act the whole policy is started to make the reforms. MRTP Act तक कोई reforms नहीं आए थे, but after the MRTP Act the businessmen think about that कि हमें reforms की ज़रूरत है, and they are just government also think that कि it is, we found that कि it is totally lost. हमारी जो industrial एरिया है पूरा लॉस कर रहा है, वहां पे कहाँ पे प्रॉफिट मेकिंग नहीं है, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट अलाउिंग द आउटसाइडर्स फॉर डू द बिजनेस एज वेल एज वी आर नॉट अलाउिंग द insiders or domestic people to do the business outside. So remove the threshold limits of assets in respect of MRTP Act companies and dominate the undertakings, as well as जो eliminations हुआ, क्या क्या एलिमिनेशंस रिक्वायरमेंट थे राइट बाय द गवर्नमेंट, तो वो था एक एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ न्यू अंडरटेकिंग्स, एक्सपांशन ऑफ अंडरटेकिंग्स, मर्जर एंड अमालगमेशंस एंड टेक ओवर्स. मतलब ये कुछ भी अलाउड नहीं था अंडर द एमआरटीपी एक्ट, ये सबको हटाया गया. मतलब कि आप कभी भी मर्जर्स कर लो, मतलब अगर आपको मर्जर्स भी करना है, कंपनी भी करनी है, तो आप पब्लिक यूनिट्स के साथ, पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट्स के साथ ही कर सकते हो बिजनेस, आप अपना खुद का बिजनेस नहीं कर सकते हो. तो दैट ये सब कुछ एलिमिनेट किया गया. देन द न्यूली एम्पावर्ड एमआरटीपी कमीशन विल बी ऑथोराइज्ड to initiate investigations on the complaints received from the individual consumers and classes of consumers in regards to monopolistic, restrictive and unfair trade practice because of MRTP Act. मतलब जो आप वहां पे एक restrictions आ गए थे कि आपको इतना ही करना है, यही प्रोडक्ट करने, तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द मोनोपोली ऑफ दैट बिजनेस इज इन द मार्केट एंड कस्टमर्स को भी क्या हुआ कि कस्टमर्स को सिर्फ वही प्रोडक्ट मिलते थे. दे डोंट फाउंड एनी कॉम्पिटिटर्स और एनी अदर सब्सिडरी प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ दैट प्रोडक्ट. तो क्या हुआ, कस्टमर्स को वही करना पड़ता था परचेज और समटाइम्स इट इज वेरी हाई क्योंकि वहां पे वो अंडर द कंट्रोल था गवर्नमेंट के. तो गवर्नमेंट को प्रॉफिट नजर नहीं आ रहा था, लॉस नजर आ रहे थे. तो टू मेक अ प्रॉफिट दे मेक अ प्राइस वेरी हाई और कस्टमर्स को कोई चॉइस नहीं मिल रही थी. तो कस्टमर्स कंज्यूमर्स आर नॉट हैप्पी विद दिस पॉलिसी के हम सिर्फ एक ही प्रोडक्ट, एक ही चीज, एक ही इंसान से, एक ही कंपनी का मिल रहा है, हमें वैरायटीज ऑफ प्रोडक्ट भी चाहिए. तो दे डोंट हैव टू गेट any varieties of the product, so they feel that कि इससे ज़्यादा अगर कुछ और choices मिल जाती है तो it's very good for the consumer also. So this is the end of our lecture. Have a good day. Thank you everyone.